Let's go.
Yo, what up, fellas? What up, fellas? How's all my retainers doing today, bro? I hope everybody is doing well, because you know I'm up here feeling like $1,000,000. It's your man, your captain, the Shave Line King, back in the building, and you know how we do when we do. Today, man, we're going to talk about something special, bro. We're going to talk about something special, bro. We're going to talk about how semen retention unlocks your chakras and your third eye. Let me tell you guys something, man. This is super important, just like all the rest of the content that we make on this channel. And I want you guys to understand, man, that this is the actual goal. Okay. We talked about how we live in a matrix. We talked about how we're being tricked down here out of our sexual life force energy to keep us low frequency and low vibrational. And now you're understanding the name of this game, why it's so tough down here, because we have these things inside of us called chakras, our energy sensors. Okay. These things are very important to our evolution. These things are very important to our ascension. Okay. And the way that we conquer these is by retaining and cultivating sexual life force energy. I want you guys to understand this. This is why we are practicing celibacy. This is why we are practicing semen retention. Okay. And this is why we are going within during these dark times. All right. We're finding the way. We found the light that each and every one of us have inside of our temples. And now what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the importance of it. We're going to have a couple videos being played. I'm going to read a couple things to you guys. And I want to also demonstrate and show you guys on how I have done this journey. Okay. And how I've ascended all of these chakras, how I went from my lower red chakra and I've ascended to my crown chakra. Okay. This is something very important. And again, it's one of those things that's undeniable. Okay. If you're ever curious and wondering if somebody has worked on themselves and you can visually take hold of these different things that I'm about to tell you, then you're going to understand that these people have done the inner work and they have raised their vibration, they have raised their frequency, and they have ascended to these chakras. Okay. And they've gotten to the crown. And this is the ultimately the objective of this whole game. Okay. Is to get to the crown chakra and unlock that pineal gland. Why? Why is this important? Because I told you this is your third eye. Listen to me carefully. We got two eyes, right? They only see in a certain form of a spectrum. Okay, they can only see so much. Okay, they can only take in so much. They can only receive so much light. But this third eye here, okay, this thing is responsible for stuff that you can't see. This is your intuition. These are things that are going to help you perceive what's actually going on inside of a dark world. Remember, it's a dark world, and your third eye is your light. And this is the importance of what we're doing on SR, because this is what it does. Not only that, it's going to give you, okay, the energy, it's going to give you the backing to be able to put the things in order, in order to, decalcify if you have that problem, in order to, get your ducks in order, basically, to help you be able to unlock this power that all of us have in our minds. All right, you guys got to understand, society knows about the power of us. Okay, it knows about the power of us. It knows about all, each and every one of us abilities. Okay, it knows this. This is why we get things like fluoride. This is why we get things like smoking and drinking. Okay, all of these things hinder, all right, this oil to travel up your spine and get into your brain to help unlock your pineal gland. All right, I told you guys, this is a secret practice, man. All right, and they're holding the secrets from us, but this is public information. It's just we don't talk about this enough, and we haven't dug into this information enough to be able to learn exactly what we're supposed to do. Okay, so today what I want to prove to you is I'm going to prove to you that not only that semen retention does this, okay, but semen retention is going to be responsible for getting you in line in order for this process to happen. Okay, you're just not, there's not too many ascended masters out there. There's not too many people who are just born in this world, man, and don't have to go the route that everybody else has to go. You guys got to understand, there's one way to this thing, and this is why we're doing it. It's called celibacy and semen retention. It's called cultivating your sexual energy. Yes, you do have some people out there who are old souls, who are really talented, and they can still partake in some of the things that some of us regular people cannot, and still succeed. Okay, so basically, this is not us. We are not those very few, okay, percent out there in the world. So the way that we're going to have to do this is we're going to have to do this the original way. Okay, the blueprinted way that the Most High has written out for us. Okay, and it revolves around ascending your chakras. So I want to read something to you guys real quick. Okay, and like I said, this has to do with semen retention and chakra activation. So listen to this. Semen retention, or as it's commonly known as NoFap, has endless benefits, some more obvious than others. One of the lesser known upsides to this practice is how it impacts the chakra system. The sexual energy takes a rise up the root chakra. This is where we experience physical urges and desires. But as we retain this energy, it starts to manifest in more subtle ways. This energy moves up through the chakras, into the heart, the third eye, and the crown. And we may notice a difference shifts in our bodies. So here's the next part. The next part is, what is semen retention? Okay, we pretty much know what semen retention, but I'm going to read it to you anyway, because this is very important how it ties into the next thing that I'm about to read. If you are on this page, then I assume you have an idea of what semen retention is, but I will provide some context for those who don't. Semen retention, NoFap, or sexual transmutation is a process of retaining sexual energy for its benefits. What many people do not realize is that sexual energy is also creative energy. It wants to move and be expressed, but that doesn't always have to be through direct explosion. Okay, this is a practice suitable for most people, but particularly beneficial for those who identify that they have a problem with their sexual urges and want to create more balance. Retaining our sexual energy for long periods of time has many physical, mental, and emotional, and of course, spiritual upsides. Mostly energy and focus, deeper emotional awareness, sharper self-awareness, clearer intuition, higher quality in relationships overall. Sexual energy is a natural thing. We shouldn't try to stop the urge completely, nor would we want to. Instead, semen retention is a practice in developing more discipline and getting to know ourselves and others on a deeper level. I recommend starting a few days more than you would usually abstain from the sexual stimulation. See how it goes. Go from there and build it up. However, in order to see impacts of your sexual energy on your chakras, you will have to hold your sexual energy for long periods of time. I recommend at least 28 days to allow this energy to build up through all the phases. Okay. The next part is how sexual transmutation affects the seven chakras. Each chakra has a higher and lower expression. This is just a simple way to categorize things, but there is of course more nuances. When we are coming from a purely physical level, these chakras will be expressed in imbalanced and detrimental ways. Working with our sexual energy beyond just a physical or emotional level is one of the ways to get out of this basic expression. Cultivating sexual energy also brings life force or chi up to the chakras, allowing them to be more deeply activated. You can imagine the chakras as batteries, for its instance. The more energy we retain, the more energy each chakra makes use of. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the seven chakras, and I want you to understand everything I'm saying. Listen to this carefully so you understand on what we're dealing with. Okay. I've pretty much told you guys about this. As soon as I've had this channel, I've been telling you guys about raising your vibration and raising your frequency. I told you how everybody out here, bro, is stuck in survival mode in their red chakra. And here's the explanation to that. The root chakra, which is the red chakra. An imbalance in the root chakra is expressed through purely physical sexual attraction, urges, and desires. There is no deep connection, and we stay within lust. I'll read that one more time. An imbalance root chakra is expressed through purely physical sexual attraction, urges, and desires. There is no deep connection, and we stay within lust. When a more cultivated sexual energy moves through the root chakra, we experience deep physical connection, but we admire beauty and eventually can see past just the body. The sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is the sexual chakra in a sense. It governs our creative expression as a byproduct. When we express the chakra solely physically, we create in order to gain validation or operate in survival mode. When we activate this chakra to a higher level, we create a wider purpose to help others connect sexually in a more loving manner. The solar plexus chakra. The solar plexus chakra is about personal power and will. When we have imbalanced solar plexus chakra, we end up taking loads of action without clear goal in mind. Our actions feel tiring and meaningless. We operate like a bull in a china shop. As we bring our cultivated sexual energy through this chakra, we will be called to take more aligned actions, guided by our own intuition rather than by our ego or social pressure. Our actions will hold more energetic weight and therefore have a deeper impact. The heart chakra. Okay, the one that I've been telling you guys about, the one that we just talked about in my last stream. Okay, we talked about it. We talked about how you have to have your heart light as a feather. Everything that I'm about to tell you, man, is about to make perfect sense on why we're doing what we're doing. So check out the heart chakra. One of the main aims of sexual transmutation is to bring the sexual energy up through the heart center. This is so we can express this energy in a more balanced and conscious way, rather than pure lust or to be in control. Bringing our sexual energy up to this level not only allows us to have deeper connections, romantic or otherwise, with others, but also bring more awareness to love that we are withholding from ourselves. Listen to that. I'm going to read that one more time, guys, because this is important, man. It says, but also being more being more aware to the love we are withholding from ourselves. Okay, I told you on this journey, this is what it's all about. You got to learn to go with inside. You got to learn to love yourself. Okay, you got to learn how to stop giving out your energy. You got to learn how to cultivate your energy. This is the definition. This is the meaning of love yourself. The throat chakra. Next, we have the throat chakra, which governs our expression, particularly vocally. Okay, when this chakra is activated, we can better communicate our needs in all areas. We will be guided to speak up more often and use our voice in creative context. One thing that was left out that was said here is your throat chakra is one of your main tools of manifestation. Okay, this is a powerful energy center within the body, and this is reason why a lot of people up here are not in the throat chakra. Let me give you an idea on how people are in the throat chakra. When people are in the throat chakra, like I said, they're going to speak things divinely. They're going to speak in positive language. Okay, they're going to be able to connect and reach people. Okay, it's a certain vibration. Okay, and what the society has done is they've given us this low vibrational language of English. Okay, they've given us this low vibrational frequency of music. Okay, and what that has done is that's gotten us to repeat these things out loud, and we don't understand that this is one of our most powerful manifestors that we have, and everything that we say out of our mouths, okay, can pretty much manifest. Okay, and you can see why the world the world is the way that it is. Okay, you got to think about all the low vibrational stuff that we have, all the people out here talking, cursing, using curse words. Okay, using names that are low vibrational, low frequency. Okay, making us think certain ways. We are powerful spiritual beings, and I told you this is our energy sensors. And when we have these things in alignment, okay, we can manifest. And by them putting that type of information out in our public and pushing it all over the internet and medias and songs and movies, we are almost manifesting what it is that they want. Okay, you got to understand this. This is why you should, speak no evil, hear no evil, see no evil. Okay, this is why you should really be careful from the things that you listen to and the things that you say. Okay, and music is one of those most potent toxic things out there that is keeping us low vibrational. The next one is the third eye chakra, which we're talking about, one of the main goals. Okay, we're going on up the ladder here. Okay, we went from the red root chakra. Okay, and now we're all the way up to here, the third eye. Check out the third eye. Once the sexual energy reaches to the highest main chakras, we will begin to see obvious spiritual benefits. Although all the chakras come with these, the third eye governs intuition and vision. When this chakra is properly activated, we will be able to set better goals for ourselves and plan different opportunities we've overlooked. We'll also feel more connected to others and on a more energetic level. Last but not least, the crown chakra. Okay, this is when you became a king. You know how you hear all these Christ is king, you hear all these people out here claiming they're king. No, you're not a real king. You're not a real king. I told you how you become a king. You become a king by retaining your seed. You become a king by ascending these chakras and ascending to your crown chakra. Okay, I'm teaching you how to become a king. Okay, a king is not somebody that was in power out there having a kingdom with a whole bunch of people working up under him. Yeah, sure, you can have that as somebody who eventually ascends to his crown chakra because you're going to become a leader. But most people out here with king in their name are not real kings. They're depleted kumars. Okay, they're fake kings. In order to become a king, you must ascend this process. So check this out. Like I said, the crown chakra, the last of the 7 main chakras, is the crown, the center that governs the connection to God and source. When our sexual energy builds up and overflows this chakra, we will likely experience deep levels of spiritual connection, peace, bliss, and joy. When we cultivate sexual energy, as I call it, the inner flame, all of the emotions we have avoided with unconscious sexual expression come up to the surface to be integrated and released. What I mean by this is when we are expressing our sexual energy unconsciously, automatically, there's usually strong emotions we are trying to avoid. When we no longer have this outlet, we have to face our loneliness, boredom, anger, and fear head on. This brings more awareness to any chakra blockages we have not attended to. Okay. So, but basically, what you've heard here, okay, you've heard an overview of our chakras. Okay. You understand on how serious this is, and you understand now on how hard it is to ascend. You can go and look yourself right in the mirror today. You can tell exactly where you are as far as you are in your energy sensors in your body. Okay. You can't lie to yourself. Okay. If you're one of these people out here who are involved in lust, you're lying, you're being low vibrational, you're being low frequency, guess what? You're nowhere near your heart chakra. Okay. You're pretty much predominantly bound to that lower red chakra of the root chakra. Okay. And this is where it signifies you have yet to begin your journey. All right. And this is what's important. This is what I'm proving to you guys. This is not me being arrogant or cocky. This is something that I have done. Okay. I'm talking about I've been spiritually awake for over a decade, and I've been practicing semen retention hardcore for 7 years. And when I tell you I have done this ascension and I know the differences, okay, from where I've came, because I have my whole channel and my whole page to go back on, and I can see where I've ascended. And you could do the same thing. If you just go back, you can tell at one point that I was battling being high vibrational and still low frequency, okay, because the things that I choose to talk about, the words that I choose to use, okay, my vocabulary, the way I conduct myself, the things that I talked about, okay, you can see the transformation, okay, you can see someone who's been digitally doing what they're supposed to do, and you can see now what I've ascended to, okay, I'm up in my throat chakra, I'm up in my crown chakra, I'm speaking from my higher self, okay, I'm doing the will of the Most High, all right, I'm enlightening others, I'm teaching others on how to unlock their gifts, okay? And this is all I'm trying to prove to you guys. This is what semen retention does, bro, okay? We're talking about it unlocks your chakras, man, allowing you to ascend, okay, allowing you to become your highest version. And then the ultimate goal is to unlock that third eye, your pineal gland, okay, which we're going to talk about, okay, which we're going to talk about how society has calcified most people's pineal gland, and this is why they don't have any spiritual connection, okay, and this is not a joke, okay, we're going to prove all of this. So the first video that I'm about to get into, I want you guys to listen on what is said here, okay, because what is going to be said here is going to be telling you exactly about your third eye and the power of it. So let's check out this video.
It's indigenous to India, even though India is one of our colonies. Yeah. Known for the bindi, the third eye activator. But I will show you in the art that you created before you went to sleep, as your consciousness up your spinal column would creep. To activate your third eye, answering all questions why you are God that you are. Look at this mask here. You can plainly see that the third eye is being activated. You can plainly see that the third eye is firmly situated. You can see the ascension. The bird represents height, overcoming the lower self, no longer seeped in lust, anger, greed, envy, jealousy, or fear. We conquered all that. We left it clear to make sure we will remember ourselves. This is activation of the third eye, the pineal gland in full bloom. The Alkabulani, third eye activation. And once again, check this warrior god out here. Third eye activation, masculine, feminine, balance and order. The diamond in the rough, Kundalini. God and everything out representing creation. The diamond in the rough.
So King,
Eternal spiral.
why is it important to open the third eye?
To see through illusion, to see through confusion. Your third eye has to be activated. In order for you to have been a slave to call another master, your third eye would have to be calcified.
Oh.
You understand? Because that's the only reason you can submit to such tyrannical treatment. In order for you to have been a slave to call another master, your third eye would have to be calcified.
Oh.
You understand? Because that's the only reason you can submit to such tyrannical treatment.
And as you guys can hear right off the bat, okay, right off the bat, we're proving my point, okay? We're proving my point on where we reside as human beings, okay? We're in our low vibrational, low frequency energy. You know why? Because we're slaves and we choose to be slaves. Okay. We get treated wrong every single day in this society. Okay. We work 9 to 5 jobs to slave away to pay bills. Okay. That we can't even cover. Okay. The money that we make doesn't even, add up to our hourly, the money that we make, it doesn't add up to the hourly. It doesn't make us enough money to survive. All right. We're out here struggling in this world. Okay. Which is only proven to you that that you are not in your higher self. You're not in your godhood, because a God is going to be able to have the capacity, okay, the creative ability to create whatever he wants. Okay. This is just the facts. This is what happens when we ascend these chakras. Okay. I want you to understand this. We become gods. Okay. We were made in the image. But you can see how society has done so many strategic things. Okay. The fluoride in the water, the mercury amalgams that you get in your teeth from the dentist. Okay. All of these different things hinder our ability to raise our energy. Okay. They calcify our pineal gland. And I just read to you on what the pineal gland is responsible for. We're talking about awareness and intuition. And you wonder why so many people fall into the traps of society. This is why, okay? Because your pineal gland is calcified, all right? We're out here being slaves instead of being our own creators in life, all right? We're taking orders, all right? We're out here working our lives away for nothing instead of creating from our higher selves, bringing in a heaven on earth. This is all what we're capable of doing. All right. And you guys are out here thinking that this is a joke and this is a game. Okay. We are super powerful spiritual beings and we've lost our way. Okay. And not only have we lost our way, we have an adversary that works 24 hours around the clock, knowing that their time is very short. And this is why there's so many traps out here. This is why we never figure out on what is going on, man, because this is what was put upon us. And you guys got to understand that when messages like this come around, you got to listen and you got to take heed. You got to understand this is the whole objective of being down here. Okay. We're trying to ascend. Okay. We're trying to escape this reality. We're trying to escape this matrix, man. Okay. And this is what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to raise our energy, ascend these chakras, and get up here to this pineal gland so we'll finally have that third eye so we can see.
So once your third eye is decalcified, you know truth again, you know love again. Now remember, we are human beings. Human means spectrum of light, which means we are light beings, which means once again, we're cosmic. Okay, but we've been in a low vibration, steeped in lust, anger, greed, envy, jealousy, fear, and all the carnalities of the West. That's where we've been. That's what's been bellowing up in our chest. So now it's time for us to give all that a rest and go to a place of love, of harmony, of peace, of well-being, where children, you can hear their laughter, where the women are happy, and men know brotherhood. This is where we have to go. This is the next level of our journey. Okay, so meet you over here, brother. Okay, once again, the third eye from the Congo, Zaire, all throughout the diaspora, all throughout the continent, all throughout Alkebulan, the third eye is activated. We're firmly situated in the most supreme levels of consciousness. Don't get none of this shit twisted. We were the first in the garden. We gave rise to everybody else on the planet. We're the mother, father figures of life on earth. Make no mistake about it. First in the garden. We gave rise to everybody else on the planet. We're the mother, father figures of life on earth. Make no mistake about it. Go out and shout it.
So can I ask you,
how's that?
for people who don't know how to decalcify their pineal, how do we even start doing that?
Well, once again, first come to the realization that you're sick, that you're on an inferior diet, and that you've lost all consciousness of your historical perspective of yourself. the first thing you have to do is move away from the indoctrination that you call education and truly educate yourself. Now, when you go to these universities, you're indoctrinated. You're not educated, you're indoctrinated. When you deal with the essence as this you're dealing with now you're being educated, because your education has to do with your knowledge of yourself and your story, your ancient glory, so that you can proliferate yourself throughout the future. Indoctrinated. When you deal with the essence as this you're dealing with now you're being educated, because your education has to do with your knowledge of yourself and your story, your ancient glory, so that you can proliferate yourself throughout the future. And so that question again was, how do you activate the third eye? Proper diet. You should not eat the animals.
Even
should
fish?
not
Fish?
You should not eat fish. Fish are full of mercury. The cavemen on Earth have seen that all the waters on Earth are polluted and not worth taking the food out of. If you pull 20 fish out of the water, you have to throw 18 of them back because they have 6 eyes, they have 30 things. They don't resemble God's creation.
Now, what you're hearing here is, first of all, I want you to understand that this is a master teacher here. Okay. I like to, manifest what it is that I want to be. Okay. You see that I say that I want to be a master teacher. This is what I'm inspiring to be. Okay. This is a master teacher that we're listening to. Okay. I'm talking about someone who's been teaching for 45 plus years. Okay. A master teacher. And what he's sitting here telling you is he's telling you what you need to do to decalcify your pineal gland. And how many of you guys give kickback? How many of you guys out here don't want to, do what you have to do to ascend, to get better, to raise your frequency, because you're stuck in, the system. You don't want to change. You're comfortable. And you're hearing a master teacher here tell you the very first thing on how you unlock this gland is to do what? Stop eating animals. Okay. I know you heard what he said. Stop eating animals. The minute you stop eating animals, your whole life is going to change. You know why you can't stop eating animals? None of you want to listen. And most of you guys are going to wait till you get in that grave, and then you transpire, and now you end up in the underworld, and your heart is going to be weighed. All right. And you got so much heaviness on your heart because you failed to learn on what you were truly supposed to learn down here, not understanding that this is a prison planet, not understanding that this is a matrix, and the food that they tell you to eat, okay, works directly against you. All right. I've been telling you guys this for a while. Okay. I've been telling you guys this for years. And so many people want to sit here and play. Listen, you keep playing. It's your life. It's your life, man. And I'm telling you, if you just listen, I'm telling you, man, it's not going to end well for you. All right. It's not going to end well for you. The best thing that you need to do is to understand from the aspect of being high vibrational by coming into the mind of God. This is what happens when you ascend these chakras. When you go from your root chakra to your crown chakra, you're going to have the mind of God. You're going to start thinking like a God. This is how I know most of you guys out there are not even close to ascending to this, because you're still eating the animals. You're still out here clowning around, sleeping around. You're still out here walking around with your pants sagging. You're still walking around here talking about blickies and listening to gangster rap music. Okay. It's your life. You're the one who's far behind. You're the one who didn't evolve. I told you, you look like the degenerate right now. Okay. And it's just a matter of time before your full degeneracy gets put on full exposure for the world. Okay. Because I told you, people are evolving. We're raising our consciousness. We're raising our frequency and our vibrations. And guess what? That means people like you who chose to not evolve are going to be the people who are highlighted. You're going to be the people, bro, who went from first to last. Okay. You've heard that saying, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. This is the truth. All right. And you got to understand this process and what we're doing here. We're raising our consciousness. We're unlocking our mind of God. We're unlocking the pineal gland. We're ascending to the crown chakra. You guys got to understand on what this process involves. This process involves cleaning up your life, and none of you want to do it. So many of you guys are still worried about body image. All that's ego. And I know you hear me. I know you hear me, and you won't dare speak up because I will crush you with facts. This is why nobody dares to come up here and try to challenge what I say, because I will crush you with the facts. You know what you're supposed to be doing, but you don't want to do it because you're comfortable and you're still living in your ego. Partly because you're still releasing your sexual life force energy. You're a coomer. You got a wife. You got a girlfriend. So you're going to still try to play within that lower energy. You're losing your energy, bro. There's no way you can be super high vibrational. Sure, you can vibe high, but you're nowhere near where you're supposed to be. All right. You can vibe high, but you're nowhere near where you're supposed to be. Okay. And you're the one playing the game. Okay. You're playing it easy. You're playing the game on easy mode. You're not challenging yourself, and you're never going to get anywhere because of that. And this is what I'm proving to you guys. So keep listening.
How about
You should
fish?
not
Fish?
You should not eat fish. Fish are full of mercury. The cavemen on Earth have seen that all the waters on Earth are polluted and not worth taking the food out of. If you pull 20 fish out of the water, you have to throw 18 of them back because they have 6 eyes, they have 30 fins. They don't resemble God's creation.
How about chicken?
You think that's a chicken? Have you ever seen the chicken truck pass you? They got 30 chickens, so-called chickens in a box. They can't move. They can't breathe. They can't breathe. It's 30 in a box. They can't breathe. It's fear. It's stress. It's anxiety. It's hurt. It's pain. It's suffering. That's what you're eating. It's no chicken. In a box. They can't breathe. It's fear. It's stress. It's anxiety. It's hurt. It's pain. It's suffering. That's what you're eating. It's no chicken. You are cosmic. You eat the air you breathe. You eat the sun that finds you. You are the son and daughters of the sun itself. You are cosmic. You're ancient. You are light. Eating, it's no chicken. You are cosmic. You eat the air you breathe. You eat the sun that finds you. You are the son and daughters of the sun itself. You are cosmic. You're ancient. You are light.
And here you hear the master teacher explaining to you exactly what you are. Okay. I told you we didn't evolve, we devolved. And this is just the proof. I'm master teacher, no one to argue with. Okay. Someone who I can sit here and I can co-sign because I have been living this life. And I told you my life has done a complete 180. I now have the eyes to see. I'm intelligent as can be. I'm tapped in. I get all the downloads. I get all the truth of the matrix. And all I do is try to go around and help people. But so many people are stuck in their low energy. They don't want to give it up because most of the people out here have the bad diets and they're wasting their sexual life force energy. This is why they don't have the strength to fight. This is why they don't have the strength to change. They don't understand that their temple is polluted with aliens. What are the aliens? The aliens are the parasites. They're an intelligent species, okay, that live within inside of, of this dead animal meat that decomposes, all right? And when we consume this, those parasites control our bodies, okay? They get into our brain. There's tons of research out there. I've taught you everything you need to know about parasites and how these parasites are controlling you. And this is why you can't quit the meat. This is why you can't quit the garbage, because you're not feeding yourself. You're feeding the parasites. You've been brainwashed to think that you need body weight as healthy. You've been brainwashed to think that being thin is unhealthy. What kind of logical sense does that make? Is being thin is unhealthy, but having body fat rolls and, Dunlap disease and parasites all in your intestines? How is that healthy? Okay. How is something that's aging you and killing you and giving you every single disease in the book, as well as getting in your brain, causing Alzheimer's and all sorts of problems, healthy for you? It's not. And it shows you that you're under a serious spell. You're under some serious witchcraft. And what it is, man, it's these damn parasites that are in the meat. It's the worm that dieth not. Okay. The one in the good book, the worm that dieth not, the worm that survived the flood, the worm that survived all of the world endings over and over and over, that has made its way into a foul bird which has been, hybridized as a chicken and fed to you. Okay. And now this worm that died not has spread it through all society and all of these foods that we eat, and we've consumed it. And people wonder why they are a certain way. They wonder why they can't think, because these things literally get into your brain. They're sucking your blood. What don't we understand? Okay. What don't we understand? Let me give you a good analogy. This is how you would understand on what I'm telling you on how serious parasites are. So just imagine there's a pool, okay, a whole pool. We know how big a pool is. Just imagine there was a pool full of leeches. You know what leeches are? Leeches are little blood-sucking things. When you jump in those dirty ponds and stuff, they get on your skin and they suck your blood, okay, right? And you see how hard it is to get rid of a leech, right? You have to burn a leech off. You can't just pull it off. You can't just pour some hydrogen peroxide on it. You can't just pour some alcohol on it. It ain't going to let go. This is the same thing that's happening inside your body with these parasites. They ain't letting go, okay? You're not going to go down to the drugstore and take some over-the-counter pills and swallow and think you're going to kill an ancient alien, okay, like parasites who have created this metropolis inside of your body. They're not going to leave. And this is why it's so hard for you to break the habits that you are going through, okay? This is why it's the main problem. I'm telling you guys. How do I know? Because I was a vegan for 7 years. And that's when I learned about all the parasites. When I started cleaning out my body, when I started looking in the toilet, when I started doing detoxes and saw all of these different worms and stuff that came out of me, and look how thin I was. So imagine you people out here who are walking around with body weight on you and how much worms and parasites that you have inside you. I'm telling you, this is real life. You can deny it. You can plug your ears. You can do all you want. It's going to catch you one day and kill you. It's going to catch you one day and give you a disease. These are the facts until you do something about it. And it's going to require discipline. But again, how can you have the discipline when you have no sexual life force energy? That is your discipline. That fatigues your adrenals. That fatigues your nervous system. That makes it it makes you unable to be able to fight the war that you need to be able to fight. Okay. These are just the facts, man. And I'm proving it to you. All right. I've proven it to you. But everything that I've told you guys, I have no reason to lie to you. I'm trying to help you, man. I'm trying to help you ascend. I'm trying to help you evolve. We devolve. We haven't evolved as the human race. Okay. We're on our way to evolving now because we don't learn things like spirituality, celibacy, and semen retention. But we used to be breatharians. Okay. I'm not trying to tell you that we're going to go back to that. That's going to take years and years of evolving again in the right direction. But we used to be breatharians. You just heard them say that we would get our food from the sun. We would get our air, from the ethers. This is what we did as, a civilization before we were taken over. This is how our ancestors used to be. And we have devolved from that because now we're eating food. And I told you what happens when you eat food. What happens when you eat food? You have this thing in your body called the digestive system. And every single time this digestive system works, you lose life. What don't we understand here? There's no science I need to pull out. What don't we understand here? Every time you eat a meal, you are dying. Every time you eat a meal, you are dying. Do you not hear me? Do I need to say it one more time? Every time you eat a meal, you are dying. Okay. This is why it comes down to the quality of what kind of meal that you are eating. If you are putting death inside of your body, guess what you're going to manifest? Death. If you're putting life inside of your body, guess what you're going to manifest? Life. Okay. I just need to understand, is this third grade educational level? Does not anybody not understand what I'm saying here? This is as simple as can be. A third grader can understand what I'm saying here. You eat death, you manifest death. You eat life, you manifest life. This is the way we're supposed to be as the human race. We were taking over. Okay. We were fed the diet of the fallen. The fallen are down here eating animals, eating all of creation. Okay. They've been doing it for eons. All right. And they taught us this diet. Why? Because the diet is more fitting for a slave diet. What does that slave diet ensure that we do? That we work mindlessly. Okay. We work mindlessly when we're consuming foods of death. But when we're consuming foods of light, this little light upstairs turns on. and our consciousness comes back. And then we start understanding on what's really going on down here and how this food that we were fed is not right for us. Okay. These are the facts. And I want you guys to understand, man, that this is the truth. Okay. You also heard him say about how fish have mercury in it. Look, I've gone around the whole diet thing. Okay. I mastered diet, bro. Okay. I told you I spent a good 8 years of my life studying health. And you think that's a joke. Okay. Do you know how long 8 years is, people? Does anybody, are you hearing me here? I spent 8 years of my life studying health. I think I can pretty much tell you anything you need to know about health. I've moved on from health. That's why this is not a health channel. I graduated from health. I'm trying to tell you on what you need to do. Okay. So you can live a happy, healthy life, so you can ascend, so you can escape this matrix and understand that every single thing that they're feeding us is poisonous and it's going to cause you your life. And it's all going to do one thing. What is it going to do, Shave Lion King? It's going to make sure that you don't ascend and you stay stuck in this reincarnation cycle. You keep coming down here over and over and over and over again, and you still haven't got it. And you keep praying outside of yourself, asking for help in your life. And then you get people like me who are sent from the Most High. There's plenty of other, there's plenty other of us out there, but you get people like me from the Most High who are trying to help you, and you're ignoring the message. Okay. And I told you why you're ignoring the message, because you're full of toxicity. You're polluted. You need to detox. You need to change your frequency. You need to change your vibration. Everything that I've been telling you, you're ignoring it. So how is anything in your life going to change if you keep ignoring the messenger? And this is all I'm trying to get you guys to understand. Everything out there is poisonous. There's nothing for us except this sun and these good fruits and vegetables that we're not allowed to have anymore, because all the soil in America has been depleted for that very reason. To get you to think that fruits and vegetables are not healthy enough to sustain one's life. This is the whole trick. This is why, even some people who do eat fruits and vegetables may look a little thinner than normal people look, because you don't understand the agenda that has been put down here. The agenda to be put down here was to make sure that everybody eats the slave diet. Everybody eats death. Nobody is going to manifest life by making the foods that we're supposed to eat deficient. Okay. Go do your research. They have completely graped the soil for minerals and resources. And this is why certain things are not allowed to be grown here. This is why we have to outsource all the fruits and vegetables from other countries. Okay. Get imported. And then when they import it, what do they do when they import it to make sure that you're still not going to get anything healthy for it? They spray it with pesticides, fungicides, and insecticides. Okay. Making sure that when you eat that diet, that you're going to get sick from eating that diet. Okay. And again, it's going to be hard either way to stay healthy in this matrix. But the thing is to be conscious of what the trap is and understand that this is what you're going to have to look out for.
You are God having a human experience. Now it's time to activate your God chip. Now it's time for you to no longer let your consciousness slip into the ways of the human. You've had enough of that experience. You've had enough of this human shit. Now it's time to morph into the God and Goddess you are. Activate, vibrate in the supreme levels of consciousness, and know and return to your truth. And the truth is, you're in a matrix, a holographic projection that appears to be real and three-dimensional. It's not. You're in supreme levels of consciousness, and know and return to your truth. And the truth is, you're in a matrix, a holographic projection that appears to be real and three-dimensional. It's not. You're in a simulation, a not real situation. You're in a matrix. So nothing is real. Your mind makes it real. Your mind is your joystick that activates your avatar that jacks you into the matrix. At the frequency through which you can play this game of life in this living theater. You happen to be caught in a B movie, and someone else is projecting it that does not have your best interests at heart. How can you project your own movie? How can you take a projector back from that foreigner and project your own story? How can you once again bathe in your own glory? How can you once again shine like the original Akabulan, man, woman, God, goddess you are? Remember, you hailed here from a distant star. The earth is simply your playground. It was never your home. Now it's time for you to go back cosmically to the places that you used to roam. You were galactic. You moved through the star systems. You moved through the different planets. Remember yourself and remember that you were galactic in your ancient design. Remember yourself. Remember your ancient design so that your children will own their minds, so we can forever proliferate our reality throughout this matrix. Ashe.
So there it was. You heard it, the first video, okay, from a master teacher explaining to you what he has learned on his life. We're talking about shaman level master teacher here, bro. All right. And what the first thing that he told you? How to decalcify that pineal gland. Y'all think it's a game, right? Y'all think it's a joke, right? And everywhere you look, this is what they give you. These are the only options you have. I just explained to you what they do with all the food, but yet you're still going to go to the store and cook that damn steak. You're still going to go eat that genetically modified bird, which is not, it's not even a chicken. It's a genetically modified bird with all sorts of disgusting foul animals that we're not supposed to eat. Okay. I could go right to your good book and prove it to you that that the chicken that you guys love so much, again, they pushed the chicken on you. The chicken that you love so much, they genetically modified it with foul birds that were not supposed to be eaten. And it's one of the number one foods here. And it's one of the number one, disease causing foods here. Chicken is. I don't care how healthy they try to make it seem on a Google search. Again, this is the construct of the matrix. Okay. You got to look on what it's doing to people in the real time. All right. It's killing people. All right. It's giving people parasites. All right. It's giving people blocked colons. All right. It's giving people constipation. All right. I told you this is what it is. This stuff is not supposed to be going through our bodies. All right. Just to prove the fact on how, dead animals and heavy matter take so long to get excreted from our intestines should let you know that's something that shouldn't be number one on your list to eat. And I told you guys it's a survival food, and now you know why. Okay, because you're only supposed to eat that in survival. You're not supposed to be eating that to, bring life, to create life. You're eating that to survive. And we've made that a staple of our diet. And again, this has a huge, part on our vibration and our frequency, and why most people out here are just spiritually blind, because they simply don't understand. Not only is it an animal, it's a sentient being. It's alive. It has a soul. It has eyes. It has ears. It has everything that you have, except it's in the shape of an animal. Okay. And it does everything that we do, except it's in the shape of an animal. And you're going to eat something that's conscious. You're going to eat something that's alive only because you don't have to see it. And you just heard them say on how the conditions of these animals are. It's a reason why we are the way that we are, because we're eating these energies. These animals are being tortured. These animals are in stress, panic, fear. There's so many hormones that are flowing through these animals, and you don't seem to understand that that energy doesn't die. It gets transferred to wherever that energy goes. And where does that energy go? It goes into your body. And you think this is a joke. And I just sat here and told you we're energy beings. I just sat here and told you we have an aura that spreads 3 to 6 feet in every direction. And you wonder why nobody likes your stinking butt. You wonder why you don't have no attraction. You wonder why you're walking around, because you're full of sludge. You have low vibrational energy. You're in a low frequency because you're eating death. If death was on a vibrational chart, it would be well below greed, lust, envy, hate. Death would be way below all that. So what do you think that frequency is that you're putting into your body? Think about it. Here's the worst part, and I'm going to move on. Here's the worst part about people who consume animals. The worst part is you don't even really like the way that animal tastes. Here's the worst part. You don't like the way that animal tastes. I can prove it to you. You know why? Because every household I've ever been to, every restaurant I've ever been to, the number one thing that they use to eat animals is vegetables and seasonings and herbs, okay? Which are the things that you should just be eating all by themselves, which have healing properties, all right? But instead, you have to spice up a dead piece of flesh. All right. With all of these different things just to consume something that doesn't have any beneficial value to you. A matter of fact, is negative. Okay. It was given to us back in the times when we were in captivity. Okay. This was the diet of slaves, and that's where it should have stayed, in slavery. Okay. Instead of raising your vibration and raising your consciousness, okay, you allow the matrix to tell you in their food pyramid. And what other else thing is in form of a pyramid? Oh yes, our secret societies, right? The people who run the world, right? And that's why they gave you the food pyramid. Okay, go ahead and eat these foods and watch you not be able to be who it is that you're truly supposed to be. Watch you leave this earth, really early, over and over, for the rest of your life. Get diseases in your 50s and 40s and 60s, okay, and not be able to ascend on who you're truly supposed to be, because this is the trap of the matrix. It's just another trap of the matrix. It's one of those things out here that keep you down in frequency, so you'll never be able to understand the information that I'm trying to tell you. Until you get your life in order, people, you're never going to understand anything that I'm telling you. You're going to keep doing what you're doing. And guess what? Ain't nobody else going to feel bad for you when you're laying in that hospital, when you got to have these doctors come in here and cut open your body, which is unnatural. So many of you guys think doctors are natural. So many of you guys think doctors are good people. How are doctors good people when their job is to help you after you done something devastating to your body? Okay. They would be irrelevant if you just took care of yourself. But the simple fact that you were misled and you were lied to and you believed it, and there's nobody in your family that's conscious enough to wake up the family, AKA the generational curse breakers, the chosen ones. There's nobody in your family to tell you what's going on. Then you just keep going down this path and you never evolve. Okay. And you keep living this life where you're never happy. And you end up, like I said, you're stuck in this reincarnation cycle until the world ends. And the world ends. And then guess what? Now you're in the underworld being judged. Okay. And we're about to get into that next. All right. To understand that everything that I'm sitting here telling you guys, I'm trying to help you. Okay. I am trying to help you. All right. I don't know what else that you don't get. I'm trying to help you, bro. Okay. I told you I'm free. Okay. I know you can see it. Do I look like anyone that has any amount of stress on his face? I sleep so good. Okay. I know where I'm going. Do you? I know where I'm going after I leave this body. Do you? I don't think you do. I don't think you realize the trap of the matrix. You keep thinking just because you go outside and you go to work and there's sun and there's people walking around and driving around, that this world is just a happy place. It's really not. Okay. It was taken over. And because it was taken over, we're all under judgment. Do you know what that means? We were forced now to do the right thing. We were forced to be on our higher path, or we're going to get the consequences of judgment. Okay. And this is the trick of the fallen. This is why they came down here and did what they did. They corrupted us and we lost our way. And now we're going to be punished, okay, as a result of us losing our way. And this is why it's so important for you guys to understand on what I'm telling you, and how if you just, I promise you, if you just retain your seed, okay, if you just work on your diet, if you just refrain from wasting your sexual life force energy, you're going to have some amount of light inside you that is going to guide you in the right direction. Okay. That's called your intuition. And then you need to listen to it. All right. It's going to tell you the right thing to do. But how can you do that, man? How can you do that, man, when you're deficient, when you don't have the light? Okay. When you're out here playing in all these different things. I know so many people that eat bad diets, that are doing sexual intercourse every single night. And these are the people I'm watching just slowly fade away. Okay. Their lives is miserable. Their health is terrible. Okay. And yet they're going to still keep trucking along, not understanding that their life could be so much better if they just submitted to the truth. Okay. If they just give themselves over to what we're supposed to be doing, man, which is the Most High, which is by living in light. Okay. And not in darkness. It's simple. Okay. It really is. But again, if you're not willing to put in the effort, which you're not going to, because you're, like I said, you're in releasing your sexual life force energy. You advocate eating all the dead animals. Those are two major strikes against you right there. That how are you gonna generate the energy to make your brain work correctly? I'm curious. How are you gonna do that? You're gonna have to have some amazing abilities to be able to go through this matrix and, like I said, not go the original way that we were all put on the path to do, and think you're going to find your way to ascend to your higher self without going through any of this. It's going to be pretty much impossible for you. Okay. And like I said, I have so many people in my life that I see, and I'm really saddened that no one wants to change their life, and they're all living these low vibrational, unhappy lives. So many of them aren't healthy. So many of them are sick. All right. And nobody wants to change. All they want to do is lean on the system. So you know what you got to do? You got to let those people go. You got to let those people go. You got to say what you say. They don't want to take the message. You got to let those people go. And then when their time comes, you're going to be standing right next to them in the hospital bed as they fade away, as they go into the underworld, and their heart gets weighed and they get stuck and sent right back here to do it all over again. Okay. That's going to be you. Okay. Instead of you taking heed to the message and understanding that this is not a game. Okay. This is not a game. Okay. If it was a game, then guess what? This wouldn't be going on. All right. People wouldn't be getting sick. People wouldn't be dying. This is not a game, folks. Okay. This is what's going to happen when you decide to make that choice. Okay. So you got to make the choice. All right. Eventually, one day it's going to catch you. And I just want to give you guys the awareness on how they're using all of this to keep us down. Okay. They're doing this to keep us down. You guys don't understand, man. You're so close to really having the life that you really want. You're so close to be able to heal. You're so close to be able to find this true happiness. Okay. But all you got to do is just make sure that all of these things go into alignment. And if you're doing all of these things, I can guarantee that your life is going to be perfect. Okay. Dang near. All right. I hear so many people in the comment section complaining. Bro, if I see you complain about anything, if you're trying to sit here and tell me the world is hard and you can't do this and you can't do that, guess what? That's telling me right there that you're low vibration and you're low frequency, and I'm not even going to respond to you. Okay. Because you're either a depleted coomer or you're somebody with a terrible diet. That's the only way that someone will be in a comment section complaining and whining about what's going on. Okay. I've had it the worst. And you don't see me up here crying and complaining and breaking down. Tell me, in the last 6 years of this channel, have you seen me come on here crying and complaining and breaking down? Okay. You haven't seen it. All right. And for that, you should be able to believe me on what I'm telling you. Okay. I have turned into a tremendously strong individual. All right. And it's because I decided to really put in the discipline and learn what's going down here on earth. So I'm going to move on to the next thing. I want to talk to you guys here really briefly about this article here. This article is called Semen Retention and How the Third Eye, how this ancient gland controls your third eye. So check this out. It says semen retention as a vital practice. Semen retention is more than just abstaining from ejaculation. It involves in conserving vital force energy. Semen contains important minerals such as zinc, selenium, B vitamins, and testosterone, okay, that the body recycles during retention. This practice supports the brain, skin health, okay, hormone balance, and especially the pineal gland. The pineal gland and its importance. Located deep within the brain, the pineal gland produces melatonin, which regulates sleep cycles and circadian rhythm. It also produces DMT, a compound linked to mystical and altered states of consciousness. The gland acts as a biological gateway between physical and spiritual awareness. Now, before I even move on, bro, I'm proving it to you right there. This is the number one thing that they attack in our diet is our pineal gland. Okay. Let me prove it to you. Let me prove it to you how the number one thing that they use that attacks our pineal gland, which is fluoride. Okay. Let me ask you who uses fluoride on you? The dentist, right? We all get acquainted with the dentist as youngsters, right? We all got to go to the dentist. We're first to go to the dentist. Now, let me ask you a question. All of us young ones, okay, when we were young, when we were in our adolescence, we all feared the dentist. Why do you think that is? You think that was a coincidence on why we feared the dentist? Of course not. Okay, because when we're younger, we're what? We're more aware. We're more spiritually tapped in. We're less polluted, right? We've been here the shortest amount of time, right? So we already know naturally that this isn't a good place to go. Okay, but let me explain to you exactly what these dentists do to ensure that your penile gland never gets activated. This is the number one profession that they use to decalcify people's penile gland, or excuse me, to calcify people's penile glands. So what do they do in a dentist? Okay, they fill you up with fluoride. Every single time you go to the dentist, that's one of the number one things that they give people is fluoride. Did you know fluoride is one of the number one elements, man, that is used to calcify a penile gland? Did you know I can't even say his name, Hitler? Okay, I'm not allowed to say his name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Did you know that he used fluoride, okay, in the controlling of the people? Do you know that he gave all the people that he controlled, that he had in slavery, fluoride to keep them docile? Okay, that is some true facts. You can do a basic Google search on that. And now you understand on how this does it to us. It keeps us docile. It dumbs us down, bro. It calcifies our awareness and our intuition. This is what it does. Okay. And not only that, did they give you to the dentist? What is the next thing that they do at the dentist? Okay. Which is even further proving my point, which should ever further prove to you that this is a setup matrix. What do they do to you when you go to this? When you get a cavity, what do they do to you? They put mercury in your feelings. Okay. This is one of the most heinous things. And if I wish I could go back and I wish I could get all these dentists arrested, man, from doing this to me and to other people, because I grew up with an autoimmune disease at a very young age because these dentists put mercury fillings in my teeth. I had 5 mercury fillings in my teeth. Mercury is the most toxic element on the planet that causes so many different debilitating diseases and shuts down the body in so many ways. And they put this into our teeth. Okay. This is the trap of the matrix. Okay. This is the importance of what I'm telling you. I'm not making any of this up. This is why, like I said, I don't play around with my health, man, because of what I've been through. I've almost lost my life plenty of times because of health. And I've seen plenty of family members lose their life. I've seen plenty of people that I know closely lose their life because of things like this. And I'm just want to have you guys be aware that this is what's happening. And you guys need to be safe, man. Okay. This is not a joke. Okay, so the next thing, calcification. Calcium deposit in the penile gland reduces its function and associated with brain fog. Okay, scientific links between semen retention and the pineal gland. Okay, releasing your seed causes spikes in prolactin, hormone that inhibits melatonin production and may impair the penile gland function. Again, releasing your seed spikes in prolactin, a hormone that inhibits melatonin production and impairs the penile gland function. Retention lowers proactive levels, potentially reducing penile gland calcification and improving melatonin output. Enhanced penile function can lead to improved clarity, focused memory, stabilized dopamine levels, balanced motivation and pleasure, better circadian rhythm, and quality sleep. More vivid, meaningful, and intense dreams enhanced by REM sleep, heightened intuition, and creativity leaked to deeper states of awareness and insight. So you can see on how this is a very important step in our ascension because it's our third eye. Okay. Think about it. If you had another eye, okay, an eye that could see things that these 2 eyes could not see, how important would that be to your spiritual journey? It would be super important, right? And now you can see why it is so important for us to go on this process of decalcifying our pineal gland, because it's literally our eyes to see. And without it, you're going to keep constantly being misled. Again, I can't help you if you're not willing to take the steps if you're not willing to do the research, if you're not willing to get the courage to take your life back in your own hands and understand that everything that I've been telling you is to free you. And until you do it, you're going to continue to be trapped. You're going to continue to make excuses. You're going to continue to say things don't work. You're going to continue to say your life sucks. You're going to continue to go work and be a slave. You're going to continue to go on with this cycle and not understanding that you have the power to save your own life. I told you there is nobody coming down here to save you, and you guys still think this is a joke. You're going to be waiting on Christ for a long time because there ain't no Christ coming back here to save you. Okay. It's you. You have to unlock that inside you. You were left the messages. You were left the blueprint on how Christ escaped, and he's trying to help you escape. He ain't coming back here to help you. Okay. His help is through the message. You got to learn how to save yourself. And I'm trying to help you guys, but nobody wants to listen. You just want to sit back. You know what that sitting back waiting for a savior does? That symbolizes that you're lazy and you don't want to take control of your own life. Does it not? When you're sit back waiting for somebody to help you, what does that say? Okay. What does that say? You're sitting back waiting for somebody to help you, meaning you didn't take the step to help yourself. That is the first step that anybody should take, is the step to take to help yourself. Nobody is doing this. Everybody is sitting back comfortable. Why? Because you really are comfortable what you're doing. And this is the only reason why I can say you're doing what you're doing. You're comfortable. And you don't understand that you have to take your life back in your own hands. I'm proving this to you guys, okay? This is the way this world works, man. And I just want you guys to be aware, man. You guys got to be sharp out here. You guys got to raise your consciousness, man. You got to use your brain. You got to put in the time. You got to do your own research. There's nobody else going to help you. Your mother ain't going to help you. Your boyfriend ain't going to help you. Your pastor ain't going to help you. Your coworker ain't going to help you. There's no one going to help you except yourself. And I'm trying to motivate you to get you to understand that I have been through all of this work, and I'm telling you that it's possible for you to do. You just got to be focused. So what I'm about to do now, you guys, I'm going to play one more video. And what this is going to tie into, okay? This is going to tie into the underworld, okay? Everything that we've been talking about here ties into the underworld. Why? Because this is where you're going to go if you don't raise your consciousness. This is where you're going to go if you don't ascend. This is where you're going to go if you don't change your vibration. Okay. I want you to understand something. I told you guys that, you know, the conquerors of this world, the person who's now writing the history, they have created nothing new on their own. Okay. All they've done is, you know, basically plagiarize the information that was already left here. So what did they do? They took the laws of Ma'at. They took, you know, different ancient things that were left by, you know, our ancestors, and they've rewritten it into their own liking by books of like the Bible and all these different religious texts. Okay. All they did was take information that was already here and they rewrote it. Okay. And this is what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. So you need to go back to the original thing. What was the original thing? What was the original text? You need to go back even further than that. But the best way to start is to look at what ancient Egypt did, because that's the stuff that is being ripped off. That is the stuff that is being plagiarized into new text today to get you to read in the forms of religion. Okay. They have taken this information and they have rewritten it. All right. And this is what they have given you. They have given you the 10 Commandments, which were ripped off from the laws of Ma'at. Okay, I'm proving it to you. This is what's happening. Okay, so why you need to ignore what man has given you, and you need to go back to what was left by our ancestors. Okay, and our ancestors told us that you are going to end up in the underworld and your heart is going to be weighed. Okay, and you should have been living a life of being positive, caring, and helping others. Okay, because that is how you get everlasting life. I told you what we are down here for. We are down here to earn everlasting life. Okay, we have been infiltrated, we have been taken over, and because of that, all right, we are under judgment. But this is a good thing, because if you are a good person, all right, then you're not going to have to worry about what's going to happen to you when you leave this body. It's all the people that are out there who are committing crimes, who are low vibrational, low frequency, that are hurting people, lying, killing, stealing, okay, causing people to live harmless lives. You're the people who are going to have a heavy heart. And at the end of the day, I don't care who pressured you. I don't care who forced you into doing what it is that you're doing. You're the only one who's going to be judged for it. And guess what? Even the person, I want you to listen to this, even the person who forced you to do what you're going to be doing is going to be standing right next to you in judgment, getting the exact same judgment when the time calls. Okay. So you got to understand that there is more on the line. There's more at risk than we are being taught. Okay. We have to understand that this matrix is set up for a reason. I told you they're getting us to lose our souls, and this is how they do it. Okay. They do it by getting us under control. Okay. By feeding us the diet of a slave. All right. Having us out here releasing our sexual life force energy so we have no spiritual protection. And this is just the facts. So this next video that I'm about to roll into is going to play more of a part of talking about the underworld. I want you to listen closely on what this woman says, okay? Because she is telling you about the underworld. She is telling you that this is a real place, okay? And she is going to be telling you on what you need to do to prepare yourself for leaving this body. And what you need to be doing to prepare yourself before leaving this body is to raise your vibration as high as possible. And how do you do that? I told you, by creating life, by giving life, by being life, not putting death inside of your body, raising your consciousness, raising your frequency, taking in solar energy, okay? Eating things that have life in them. This is how you raise your frequency. And when you change your diet, you're going to notice that it's going to run over into other parts of your life. You're going to be a more caring, more compassionate person. Okay. This is just the facts, man. And diet affects all of that. So check this out.
Really began when she passed away, you know, with the whole 11/11 tattoo that I've had for so many years. So just rest in peace. I know she is in peace. And it's been a battle because I've been communicating with my mother for a while, knowing where she stood on the other side, and she is finally at peace and finally free. And I can definitely say that ancestral freedom and release is so important to me. And I do understand the underworld very well. So she's gotten through. She's gotten through. I actually gave her a garnet stone necklace. I bought it for her in Macy's. I was working at Macy's at the time. And it was for her birthday in January, and she passed away June that year. And when they told me that she passed away and I went to the hospital, her necklace wasn't on her body. And for a long time, I always thought that a staff, like someone on staff, like stole her jewelry. Like, you know, she had that one necklace on her. She was wearing it, like she never took it off. And it was gone, and they couldn't find it because I really wanted to collect it when she passed. So I did get a message. Underworld.
1 second. I gotta call somebody out, man. Listen, I'm gonna start kicking y'all out of here, bro. And you're gonna be blocked permanently if you come here and try to tell me I'm contradicting myself about something. I don't contradict myself about nothing. The Most High is you, fool. So you coming back is the Most High. Okay, raising your vibration, coming to the crown chakra, getting the mind of God. Okay, that would be equivalent to the Most High. That is you. I'm not contradicting myself. Okay, don't say stuff like that. Okay, I don't like people in the comment section, bro, leaving information that is not positive. Why don't you say something positive? Why don't you say something positive about the chakras? Why don't you say something positive about opening and unlocking your third eye? When I see you be negative, bro, that's when you guys are going to start getting put on the block list. Okay. I'm not going to be playing with you guys no more, man. Okay. I'm tired of you low consciousness, low vibers coming in here wanting some attention. Okay. Get out of here, bro. I don't need you here, man. Okay. I'm doing just fine. This classroom isn't for you if you don't understand the information. Okay. I've told you everything that you needed to know. Maybe you need to go back and watch all those videos. Maybe you're one of these people who just skims through videos. I don't know what it is that you're doing, but you completely missed the message to think that you're going to come back up in here, bro, and try to tell me that I contradicted myself in some form or fashion. Okay. No, you just didn't understand the message. And I've said it over and over and over again. You've never heard me say the Most High was going to come back here and he's going to crack the sky or something like that. You never heard me say that. I told you there's nobody coming back here to save you. please tell me where I've been wrong. I told you nobody's come back here to save you. I told you what you have to do. You have to become that being. You have to do what Christ did. That is how you escape. The Most High, in so many words, okay, is you. The Creator. The Creator is a different person that I talk about. Now, that's a person that I talk about. That's an entity that I talk about. But when I say God, when I say things like that, I'm talking about you. Okay, ye are gods. Okay, you've never heard me say anything different. You've never heard me come up here and use religious texts, because I don't use the Bible. I don't use the Torah. I don't use the Quran. Okay, because I really know what's going on, because I'm really tapped in, and you would too, bro. You would be too if you were doing the right thing. But I can tell you're not doing the right thing by comments like that, man. You making yourself look bad. Okay, you're the one proving that you're not doing the right thing. I guarantee you're not doing the stuff that we talk about on this channel, because if you did, you wouldn't be confused. All right, so please stop stopping the stream, bro, and putting ignorant replies in the comment section, wanting some attention, because I'm telling you, from this point out, I'm gonna start blocking you guys. I don't care how long you've been watching. I don't care anything that you're talking, bro. If it's not positive, if you're not going with what we're talking about, you're going to get blocked.
Message, like, you guys know by now that I am really well versed in the Egyptian rites in the underworld, which actually is not just Egyptian. It is the underworld. There are so many different interconnections culturally to what we all call the underworld. It's just different interpretations and different recordings of this process. But when you look through many cultures and many religions in the past, except for Christianity and all that, like they don't even have an underworld. They just have hell. But there is a judgment, facing. We don't have to wait for a Messiah to come back to receive judgment to move forward. If we had to wait for Jesus to come back in order for judgment to happen, we will have a backed up system and spirits in progression. So there is an underworld that exists that allows a passageway. And in Egypt, they call it the door of demons. It's in the Book of the Dead, where you're faced with, I believe, 13 or 14 doors of demons, or 7, depending on just an aspect of.
Real quick before I move on, Truth in Broadcasting has a question here. He says, so I have 2 mercuries in my molars. You have 2 molars, right, with mercury in it. You said your childhood dentist, to get to ask them to be removed, he told me that it's basically truth, man. I know you're a boss, bro. Okay, but that, man, you've been bamboozled, bro. Okay, that is highly incorrect, bro. All right, highly incorrect, man. All right, that mercury is the most toxic element there is, and it's being put in your mouth. There is a video on YouTube. I suggest you go look it up. Every single time that you take a bite, okay, do you understand what happens every single time you take a bite with mercury fillings in your teeth? Do you understand what takes place? Okay, there is a video that shows the I don't know, the vapors, if that's what you want to call it, but every single time that you take a bite and you chew, those that mercury vapor it starts to get exposed to the root of your mouth, to your tongue, okay, getting into your saliva and then being ingested into your stomach. Now, let me tell you how this affected me and how I went and seen a holistic doctor for this, and how I got 5 mercury amalgams removed out of my mouth. This ain't no joke. Again, here's the thing. You sit here and you're going to believe your dentist because he's a childhood dentist. Didn't I just sit here and just tell you guys that the dentist is a part of the system? Do you understand that the dentist is a part of the Rockefeller curriculum? Do you understand who Rockefeller is and what he's done? He's the one that created the schooling system, the hospitals, everything. Okay. And none of these things are positive. Okay. And I've proved that to you. And just like dentist is not positive. Let me prove to you that dentist isn't positive. It's just a person there to take care of the symptoms, to give you a Band-Aid that is completely unnecessary. If they never gave us white sugar, bleached sugar, okay, if they never gave us sugar that was pulled out, all the minerals from the sugar, if we were allowed to eat natural brown cane sugar and things of that nature, you wouldn't have cavities. Okay. Therefore, a dentist would be totally irrelevant. Okay. But when you go to the dentist, I just sat there and told you that they put fluoride in your mouth. Okay. They give you fluoride toothpaste. All right. And the way that they take care of cavities is they do root canals. Okay. They kill the root in your tooth. You're the one who said this, so I'm just going to explain it to you. They kill the root in your tooth. Okay. Do you know what that does? When you kill the root in your tooth, the tooth is dead. Okay. And then they seal the tooth. Okay. Back up once it's dead. And then once it's dead, you know what that happens? All that bacteria gets built up inside of that tooth. Go do your research. All that bacteria gets built up inside of that tooth and gets directly in your bloodstream, which your bloodstream is connected right in your mouth directly to your brain. And people die from this. Okay. This is one of the number one things that the dentist does. Okay. That is one of the number one things that the dentist does. What's another good thing that the dentist does since we're on this subject? What does the dentist do? They take out your wisdom teeth. Okay. Do you understand that your wisdom teeth is named wisdom for a reason? Do you understand that? Do you understand how important a wisdom tooth is and what it connects to in the brain? Okay. And when you remove that, it's like pulling the circuit from the brain. And this is one of the number one things that they push upon all people is to remove their wisdom teeth, not understanding that the wisdom teeth grow in crooked for a reason. Okay. And why they're called wisdom, because they're only supposed to show up later in your life when you gain wisdom. And they take your wisdom teeth out of your mouth. And what do they use the wisdom teeth for? And they don't even tell you. Do they give you your wisdom teeth back? Has anybody here taken their wisdom teeth home with them? Ask yourself why you haven't taken your wisdom teeth home with you. Do you understand that inside those wisdom teeth, there is very precious stem cells that you can't get nowhere else? And this is one of the main reasons your dentist advocates for you to take your wisdom teeth out of your mouth. Do you understand that? I don't think you do, because nobody studies. You guys are exposing yourselves, man. Okay. You don't know what you think you know. Okay, you haven't done enough research, bro. I went through taking 5 mercury amalgams out of my mouth due to a holistic doctor that the mercury amalgams end up giving me an autoimmune disease because of the vapors and all that stuff getting inside of my gut and destroying all of my gut bacteria, which ended up giving me IBS and a whole slew of problems. I had to deal with that because I got those in my mouth when I was 4 years old, and I had them all the way up in my mouth until I was an adult. Okay, before I realized that was causing me sick my whole life. Okay, this is not a joke. This is not a game. Okay, I told you I studied for 8 years because I was forced to, because I got sick from the system. I had to go back to the root of the problem. I had to see whose fault was this, that this was happening. And I just told you it's a part of the Rockefeller curriculum. I suggest you go look it up.
What you came in with, how you died and so on. There are like different aspects of how many doors you enter. But either way, the last door is at the scales of Ma'at. Again, I'm speaking in Egyptian terms, but these can be found in other ancient cultures. But the scale, the weighing of the heart and the feather. And if you've seen the movie Gods of Egypt, which was okay, but my favorite scene in the movie was the Underworld scene when he had to get his lover back and wanted to resurrect her. He had to face different challenges in the underworld. And the first thing they ask you is, what do you have of value? Now, of course, it's not material gain or anything like that, but there is something that you should have. This is why they were so adamant about jewelry and pieces and things that are passed down in families that have meaning. Like if you got a nice iced out chain and a necklace, that doesn't necessarily get you passed for the value inspection. It's more so of if you have like a pearl ring or like something of value from the material world that has been given to you as a gift that actually has a lot of spiritual meaning and something you've carried around or something of value attached to the material item. it actually gets put on the scale on the heart side that allows an alleviation of the heaviness that you carry.
Okay, so what you're hearing her explain is you're hearing her explain when we go to the underworld. Okay, I just told you that society has copied, all of this information. They've taken the history because they're the conquerors. Let me ask you guys a question. What happens when people conquer? They rewrite the history, right? So this is essentially what happened to us. All right, they conquered us. They have rewrote the history. All right, and what they've done is they've now taken, like I said, the laws of Ma'at, the things that this civilization used to thrive off of and used to follow to ensure their transformation in the afterlife. This is what they used to do, right? So what the society has done is they've taken the laws of Ma'at and they've rewritten it into the Bible. They've rewritten it into, different texts like the Torahs and the what's the other one? The Muslim book. You guys know what I'm talking about, okay? The Quran. All right. So what they've done is they've rewritten it and they've taken the underworld and they exchanged it for the word hell. Okay. This is where the word hell has come from. So, see, we are told here in our culture that we go to hell. Okay. You've all heard that, right? And we all say it. I say it all the time. I say HE double hockey stick. We go to hell, right? So what they have done, if they have taken that from the underworld, okay, the original true script of what's happening to the people who choose not to evolve down here. Okay, you go to the underworld and your heart is judged. All right, this is what I've been telling you, and this is what I've been teaching you guys about. The modern society has taken those laws, rewritten them into forms of the Bible, all right, confiscating that information, plagiarizing it, and rewriting it in their own text. And they make it and they call it hell. Okay. This is why I'm trying to tell you. This is how you know they have manipulated everything out here. And what she's explaining is she's explaining when you are going, when you're about to leave this body and you're about to, enter those gates on what's going to happen to you. Okay. I'm going to pull out the book. I have the Book of the Dead. I believe it's here. I'll grab it in 1 second. I'm going to finish this video. I'm going to go grab the Book of the Dead. And I'm going to read something out of the Book of the Dead to you guys. Okay. And prove to you on what I'm telling you. Okay. But what she's saying is she's telling you on what is about to happen when you leave this body. Okay. And how you're going to be, your heart's going to be weighed, and the certain things that you can use to lighten your heart on the scales. Okay. Things that were passed down by loved ones and family members, things that were symbolizing love. Okay. Relationships that you had with other people, which would make your heart lighter. Okay. Making you a better person. Again, we're proving it to you on what you're going to be judged on. You're going to be judged on being a good person. This is why even the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, all these different things, they all promote being good people, right? Because that's inherently what we're supposed to be doing. That is the name of the game. The name of the game is to live from this heart chakra. Okay. This is the name of the game. So you need to understand, man, that when we leave this body, that's what is going to be judged. Okay. You're not going to be able to lie. You're not going to be able to manipulate. You're going to be there naked, bro. Okay. Literally naked. All right. And you're going to have to basically be judged on the things that you did here in this life. And this is what I'm trying to prove to you guys. I'm trying to show you on what's happening in the underworld. Okay. And how this is relevant to us and what we're doing right now in modern time. This is why we're down here, guys. We're down here trying to earn everlasting life. I want you to understand this. This is what this whole thing is about. If it wasn't about that, explain why would things be so evil? You have to think about it. This is how you know that there is a true yin and a yang. There's a true good and a bad, because everything down here is bad. Everything down here is evil. Okay. Outside of your family, there's very little light. Think about it. Outside of your family and loved ones and people that you deal with, there's very little light in this world. And we see it all over the news. We can see it. There's no families anymore. We can see it how people take people's lives. We can see everything in this matrix for what it is. Okay. But we just got to understand, man, that this is why we are doing the things that we're doing. This is why we are on retention. This is why we're retaining our seed. This is why we're practicing celibacy. Why? Because we're trying to raise our consciousness, bro. bro. We're trying to raise our vibrations. Why? Because that's inherently going to make us better people. So when we transform, when we transpire, when we leave this body, man, we're going to be judged in righteousness. Okay. We're going to make it. We're going to get that everlasting life that we're all, want so bad. We understand that this is not heaven. Okay. We understand that this is basically hell, like I said, because people lose their lives down here. People are sick down here. People live, very unhappy, short lives down here. This is the whole point of this journey, you guys. The whole point of this journey, man, is to focus your energy and raise it up from the lower chakra. Take it out of your lower sexual nature and raise it up through your heart, and then let it get into your mind. Okay. So you become a Christ being. Okay. That was Christ's whole message, to save you. He teaching you how to save yourself. Okay. I really highly doubt, man. Okay. None of us have the absolute truth, but I'm telling you, based off of the Book of the Dead, all the ancient, stuff that I've done research on, as well as my master teachers who I learned from, all say the exact same thing. Okay. It's all about us becoming those enlightened beings. And that is how we save ourselves. Because you got to think about it. When we die, we can't take nothing with us. We can't take nobody with us. It's a solo journey by ourselves. And that should get you really to understand on how there ain't nobody really going to come down here and save you. It's going to be yourself, and understanding that this attack from this matrix is upon you and nobody else. Okay. This is why we all have to go on our solo journeys. Okay. This is what we're learning. And this is all I'm trying to show you guys.
So these gifts that we, the reason why they buried and had these tombs with all of this jewelry and so on is because every piece of jewelry was not heavy in the afterworld. I mean, the underworld, not the afterworld. That's different. But the underworld really weighed out this level of value of certain pieces of material aspects of value to weigh in on the side of your heart. And I say that to say that piece of necklace, that one little piece of garnet, the pendant and the chain, she revealed to me that she left with that. Her spirit took her chain. It wasn't a staff member. No one from the hospital stole her chain. When she left her body, it was spiritually appeared in the underworld in her hand. And I actually created something like a mathematical equation when I was dealing with, just going through my notes of deciphering certain theories and so on. And it equaled her birthday, 108, when I was, because I'm into math and the phi golden ratio mathematics. I'm a nerd on that level. So like it came to 108 and her birthday is January 8th. So my pen literally kind of like came alive in a sense and said, thank you, garnet, the garnet piece. So there was like a part of me that felt like she was basically telling me that it got her through. The gift that I gave her got her through into or past the scales and finally allowed her to get to the afterlife door, which Anubis is one of the he's the guiding factor that leads the dead to there are like 2 or 3 doors. This is where the doors get scarce. You go through many doors in that underworld, but when you pass the scales, you are weighed to see and evaluated in the eyes of true, pure essence and innocence and ma'at and truth. It is not rigged. It is not manipulative. It is a true essence of your rites of passage. And she was able to get into the right door for her afterlife. There are like 2 or 3 doors. This is where the doors get scarce. You go through many doors in that underworld, but when you pass the scales, you are weighed to see and evaluated in the eyes of true, pure essence and innocence and ma'at and truth. It is not rigged. It is not manipulative. It is a true essence of your rites of passage. And she was able to get into the right door for her afterlife because of the piece of garnet that I gave her, the chain that I bought her for her birthday right before she passed away. It was a good enough piece of value, of sentimental value. A lot of people go into the underworld poor, their families that don't take care of their family. And like in the sense of preparing and being sentimental and really passing things down. My grandmother, she was really big on passing things down. Down to photo albums and just sentimental things that are really old and all stained and ripped up. If you can keep things like that, please keep them, because they may come with you after your death. Those items may appear and actually disappear from the material world, like literally disappear from the material world into the afterlife, the underworld experience for an ancestor or for yourself. So hold on to these things. Like there are material things that really do hold lots of spiritual value. So I just wanted to honor that for her, and I'm so happy that she has made it through into her renewal, I'll say. Also
Of the heart, according to which.
All right. Before I move on, I just wanted to apologize to Truth in Broadcasting. Yeah, bro, I misread what you were saying, man. My bad. Okay. Yes, he would be an ignorant Mason. Okay. Like I said, that's one of the worst things that you could put into your mouth, man. It was done on purpose by the Rockefeller curriculum, bro. Okay. And if you go do enough research on it, you're going to see, man, that, like I said, I believe all dentists should be arrested for doing that, man, because it's put a lot of people in some bad places. A lot of people have developed diseases that they cannot get rid of. We're talking about colitis. We're talking about Crohn's. We're talking about IBS. Okay. We're talking about, I've been through so much in my life because of that. And let me tell you how serious it was for me. Just like Jim said that the dentist, he knew the dentists were bad and he had all his teeth removed. Okay. Why is that? Why would somebody want all their teeth removed? We're sitting here and we're talking about it, and I'm going to give you the reason why somebody would want all their teeth removed. So you can't be poisoned. Okay. Let me explain something to you. One infection in one tooth can kill you. Okay. Listen to me, people. One infection in one tooth can kill you. Okay. One infection, it goes right into your brain and it'll kill you. Okay. Let me explain something to you. I had one wisdom tooth removed and it got severely infected. Okay. This was not too long ago. It got severely infected, right? My whole jaw was hurting, bro. Like it was hurting and it connected to my brain. I could feel it getting up to my brain because I waited too long to go get the tooth removed, because I already know what is going to happen when I go to a dentist. First of all, it's a wisdom tooth. So I already know I'm going to get injected with hella toxins. Okay. They're going to last inside my body for who knows how long. Okay. And I'm going to get my tooth ripped out. All right. So I'm going to have pain on top of pain, and I'm going to have a healing time, and I'm losing my wisdom teeth. Okay. I don't never want to lose my wisdom teeth. Let me explain what happens to you when you lose your wisdom teeth. Okay. Your wisdom teeth is the structure of your face. Okay. Listen to me. I'm telling you guys the truth. Again, I'm just trying to help you. Please don't come in here and battle with me and start fights with me. This is a positive channel, man. And if you can't be positive, just leave. Okay. I don't want you here. All right. So the wisdom teeth in your mouth, they support the structure of your face. Okay. So this is why they advocate for you when you go to the dentist to get all four of your wisdom teeth removed at one time. And what happens is it deconstructs your face. Okay. You lose the shape of your face. It literally sinks in your face. Okay. You got to think about it. Your wisdom teeth are on back. They keep this jaw and this angle of your mouth at a certain way. And the minute you get those removed, your whole face sinks in. Okay. I want you to go do the research. There's plenty of videos on TikToks that will show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Before and after of people going and getting their wisdom teeth removed, and how their face is completely sunk in. They have no definition anymore throughout their cheek area. They have no definition anymore throughout their face, because your wisdom teeth are the support of your damn mouth. All right. And when you remove those and you get those taken out, your face gets all fat and shrinky with no form to it. Okay. That's another big reason. So what reasons did I just name? I named that they have precious stem cells in there that the doctor, the dentist gets incentives to take them out of your mouth. Okay. These are facts. I've done the research for you. I'm trying to help you out. Okay. The dentist gets paid to take them out. Okay, because the dentist ships them out. The dentist doesn't keep them. He ships them out to who knows where. Okay, and they paid the dentist for these stem cells. Okay, you got to understand how important these stem cells. Stem cells are worth thousands and thousands of dollars. And I just sat here and told you that wisdom teeth have some of the most precious stem cells in there. Okay, the next thing, like I said, it does is it completely deconstructs your face. All right. Completely, man. All right. Deconstructs your face. All right. Next thing that it does is it pulls on, I told you, it does something to the firing in your brain. The teeth are connected to little tiny microscopic tentacles that connect to different parts of your brain. Look it up, dude. You are literally put together like this, and your teeth are connected directly to your brain. Some of them are connected to different organs, but I know your wisdom teeth have connections to your brain. So all the other teeth connect to like your liver, your gallbladder. Okay. This is why when you get a tooth infections in some place, it can directly correlate to something that's going on in your body. Your body is interconnected just like that. All right. And they know this. All right. This is why I told you they give you the bleach sugar. This is why they give us the bleach sugar. This is why cane sugar is in everything. Why? Because if you consume this stuff, it's pretty much going to guarantee that you're going to end up in their system. And what have I been telling you guys the whole time about this system? I told you, if you keep doing what they tell you to do in this system, you're going to end up in their system. I'm just telling you the truth. You're going to end up in their system. Their system is a wide variety of things. The hospital, the dentist. I mean, think of anything else that has to do with the system that is doing things that, you know, if we were natural, they would be irrelevant. A dentist would be totally irrelevant if we were allowed to eat the proper diet. Okay. But since our food is manipulated, hence when you go to a gas store, it is nothing but a cane sugar paradise. It is nothing but a food coloring paradise. It's nothing but a synthetic sugar paradise. Okay. Everything that we eat, okay, affects our mouth. All right. And when your mouth is affected, your gut gets affected. When your teeth get affected, your brain gets affected. Okay. When your brain gets affected, your blood gets affected. Okay. And they have perfected this. This is why, like I said, it's nobody can escape from what's going on here unless you really go within, unless you really wake up, unless you really put in the effort, unless you really take your power back. You're going to keep being a victim of all these different things. Okay. It is very important for you guys to understand that this is not a joke. Okay. It really isn't, man. And I get so bothered, man, by people coming in here playing games, man, in life, thinking this is a game. You're in here clowning around, bro, when we're in here trying to save people's life. Man, I have no respect for you, bro. I have little to respect for anybody that comes in here and takes these live streams as a joke and tries to draw attention to themselves and not provide anything positive to what we got going on here. Okay. And I told you, I'm not playing with you. I don't care how long you've been watching me. I don't care. I don't care how many super chats you gave me. I don't care. I told you, man. You're going to be treated on what you display to others and where your energy is. Okay. So if you want to be respected, then conduct yourself in a respectable way. Okay. This is a classroom. We're here helping each other, man. And that's what you need to be contributing to. So I'm going to finish the rest of this video. I want you guys to listen before I jump into the next topic. This is going to be one more video about what's going on in the underworld. Okay. And understanding that this is actually hell. Okay. They've taken hell, from the underworld. All right. And this is what they're doing. Okay. Hell is really real. Underworld is really real, man. Okay. And you understand why now so many people, make that correlation to hell and the underworld, because it is real. This is where they stole it from. It's a place that we're going to go to if we don't raise our vibration and we don't raise our consciousness. All right. We're all going to go there and be judged eventually when we leave this body. But like I said, it's going to be the difference between you earning everlasting life or you losing your soul and staying in that underworld. I want you to think about what other movies has signified this. There was a movie out there. It was We have Hercules to look at. We have Battle of the Gods to look at. Okay, when Anubis came up and he judged him and he put his heart on the scales and he ended up taking his wife to the underworld, and then he had to go and try to rescue his wife in the underworld. Same thing that happened in the movie Hercules. Okay, Hercules had to go rescue Meg from the underworld, and when he went to the underworld and he saw Hades, what did he see? There was a river of souls swimming. Again, you guys think this is all animation. You guys think this is all jokes. This is not a joke. It's called truth in plain sight. This is called lesser magic. They put it all up in your face. So everything that they do here, you're going to think it's a joke. And it's really not a joke. It's really real. All right. And you know this inherently, or you wouldn't be here. Okay. You know what right is from wrong. Most of us do. But like I told you, most of us get corrupted because of, it seems like there's no God down here. It seems like there's no love down here. And most of us go astray. And all I want you guys is to stay on the path and trust your insides. And I'm telling you, everything is going to work out.
Soul was punished. The ancient Egyptians believed that the heart recorded all of the good and bad deeds of a person's life and was needed for judgment in the afterlife. After a person died, the heart was weighed against the Feather of Mate, goddess of truth and justice. The scales were watched by Anubis, and the results recorded by Thoth. If the heart is lighter than the Feather, the soul is deemed worthy to proceed to the afterlife. If the heart is heavy with wrongdoing, it is devoured by the monstrous Ammit, and the soul would face eternal punishment.
You live your entire life thinking your actions are forgotten. But what if every word, every decision, every lie was written in your heart? And when you die, that heart is weighed. In ancient Egypt, this wasn't a metaphor. It was your fate. This is the story of a soul and the weighing of the heart. To the ancient Egyptians, death was not the end. It was a transition, a gateway to the Duat, the realm of the dead. The soul, or Ka, would not rest until it had passed a final test, a divine trial, before the gods themselves. They called it the weighing of the heart, and this is the story of Kaimhat, a scribe, a father, a man with flaws. Now he must stand before judgment. Kaimhat opens his eyes. He feels no pain, no hunger, no wind, only silence. Standing before him is Anubis, god of the dead, black as obsidian, eyes that have seen 1,000 souls. Anubis speaks. Your time among the living has ended. Now your truth must be revealed. The road to judgment is not a straight path. It winds through the Duat, a dreamlike land of fire, memory, and illusion. Kaimhat will face not only gods and monsters, but himself. As they walk, the Duat reveals visions from his life. Not all are pleasant. He sees the day he stole from the market to feed his family, the time he betrayed a friend to save his own name. He sees his acts of kindness, teaching a boy to write, protecting his sister's honor, offering food to the poor. His heart feels heavier with each step. Is it guilt or fear? In Egypt, it was believed that the heart was the seat of memory and conscience. It recorded every moment of one's life. No sin could be hidden, no lie could be erased. And now, that very heart will be weighed. Anubis leads him through the final gate, into the hall of two truths. Inside, the gods are waiting. Gods of wisdom, balance, and the dead surround him. They do not speak. They only watch. In the center, a grand scale of unimaginable beauty. On one side, a gleaming feather, the symbol of Maat, truth, order, justice. On the other, his heart. In the shadows waits Ammit, the devourer. She is no god, she has no temple. She waits only to consume the unworthy. Anubis steps forward. With careful hands, he places Kaimhat's heart on the scale. Thoth raises his pen, and the judgment begins. The gods lean in. Ammit snarls. But the scale does not tip. The feather and the heart are equal in weight. Kaimhat has passed the test. His life was not perfect, but he lived with conscience. He honored Maat even when he stumbled. He is granted entry into the field of reeds, a paradise where the righteous live forever. Harvests never fail. Time does not pass. In this sacred realm, Kaimat is reunited with his ancestors, free of suffering, free of fear, at peace. The ancient Egyptians taught us something powerful. Live a life worth weighing, not one of riches, but one of truth, of kindness, of balance. Your heart is your witness. What will it say when the time comes?
In ancient Egypt, when a man was laid to rest,
His journey did not end. A far greater path
awaited him, a path filled with trials, mysteries, and events only the dead could witness. When the gate of Duat stirs from its eternal sleep, the dead feel the pull of destiny.
Here flows the river of shadows, where forgotten souls drift without names. And from the heart of silence rises the one who judges all paths, Anubis. Every soul must stand before him, naked of lies, naked of pride.
The path carved by the ancients leads to only one truth.
Here, justice is ancient, and justice is final.
The heart reveals what the tongue learned to hide.
When the balance moves, destiny sharpens its blade.
Some pay debts they carried from the world above. The unworthy fall into shadow, where no names survive. But the pure walk through fire without burning. This is the field of reeds, the home of the deserving.
Even the greatest of kings once stood here in silence. The ancestors witnessed the truth, for no crown follows you to Duat. By his decree, the fate of the soul is sealed. Those who lived with truth walk into eternal peace.
Those who fed the darkness now walk beside it. His duty is endless, for the dead never stop arriving.
So what I'm here proving to you guys is this. This predates the Bible. This predates all the history, literature that we have. Okay. And you hear the similarities to what we were taught in our modern day through our religions, which should tell you what? Where did they get this information from? Don't you see the same stories? They just sat here and told you that there's a good and the evil. You're going to be judged. You hear Judgment Day in the book. You hear the Most High is going to come back to judge you. Okay. You hear in all these different correlations, the same thing that applies here in this Book of the Dead, because this is where they got the information from. I told you, they're conquerors. The Columbuses, the people who stole the history, they stole the history and they rewrote it in their books to control you. This is what they've done. This is why every similarity goes hand in hand with the information that predates it. Okay. You can't argue with this. It predates it. And it's the same correlation. It's the same stories that they stole from this literature. This is what they did. They stole it and they rewrote it in their purpose. And they got you to believe a story that's been derived from this. This is the truth. Okay. This is everything in this book that I have read. I can tell exactly where modern religion got all of its context from. It's from the Book of the Dead. It's from these scrolls. It's from the things that were left written on the wall. And this is all this is. This is the stuff that was written on the wall, put into the form of a book. And you're able to go and read this book. This is why this book is so expensive. Okay, go look and see how much this book cost you to read, to be able to get this information. This is what they've done. And I'm proving it to you guys. Okay, everything from our stories, from our good book, shows you that this is what's going on in the modern times. All right. And you guys need to really dive into this, man. Okay. If you're about truth, if you're not about truth, if you don't want the truth, then go back to sleep. Continue living the life that you want to live. Okay. That's fine. But I know people want the truth. We all want the truth. I know we do. The truth is out there. You just got to put in the effort to go and find it. And once you find it, you're going to understand, like I said, you're going to be able to put this puzzle together. Everything that I'm telling you goes together from what they've done to us in our diets to keep us down. So we don't, get to that place that we're all trying to get to. This is what they're doing. This is what's happening down here in the Matrix. This is why everybody is confused. This is why they created the religions. Why? Because it's division. It keeps you divided. It keeps you separated. It keeps you out of the truth. There is only really one truth. They got it from this. There's only one truth. You got to go look at the people who left us the information. Okay. And the people that took the information, like I said, all they did was rewrite it into their favor. Okay. Creating a story of a divine being. Okay. This being that was going to come down here and save us and do this and do that. It's the same thing in this book. Okay. The exact same thing that they got it from. All right. And then what that happens is that gets you to worship a man. Okay. Because you're not supposed to worship really anything, but they get you to worship a man, which is outside of yourself, which is a man. So you're worshiping a man, which is unperfect. Okay. Man is unperfect. Okay. I can see you worshiping a God. Even then that's even questionable, but I can see it more so that you worshiping a God and not a man. A man, there's no man that's ever walked down here that's been perfect. So that means you shouldn't be worshiping any man. All right. This is just the facts, but this is what they've given us. They've given us this. And this is why there's so much confusion in the modern day. But I told you all it takes for you is to just to walk away from the world and go do your own study. And nobody will do it though. Why don't you go look and see if they've been telling you the truth? Why don't you go investigate on what predates the Bible? Go and do the research. Go say what predates the Bible. I want to see what information predates the Bible, because if it predates the Bible, that means before the Bible, that means that's probably going to be the truth, right? Right? Wouldn't that make sense? If something is older, wouldn't that make sense that these people, all they did was take the information and rewrite it to what their liking was? Does that not make sense to you? It makes perfect sense on what they did. All right. They stole the information because they conquered the land. And this is how they used the tool to create this, this matrix, this reality, this belief system that gets people to look outside of themselves, waiting for a savior. When I just sat there and told you there ain't nobody coming here to save you, bro. They're not. They're watching you. This is the big stage. The world is a stage. This is a big stage. You're being watched by your ancestors. You're being watched by the gods. You're being watched by all sorts of different alien entities. Everybody is watching us, seeing what we're going to do. This is humanity's time to ascend. And I told you the fallen came down here to do one thing, is to counteract that. This is why we have all of this stuff going on. This is why there's no happiness. This is why there's so much fighting. This is why there's so much chaos, because nobody wants to wake up to what's going on. They want to continue to go with the narrative instead of go within. This is why all of us who decide to go outside of the box end up finding the truth. Okay. And it's our job to try to help as many people as we can. I'm not sitting here trying to, if you don't want to change, that's fine. I'm not trying to change you. Okay. All I'm trying to do is to get you to see that you might need to go do some investigating. Okay. Instead of believing everything that you were told. And this is all we're trying to do. Okay. Plant the seed. Okay. I'm not trying to say I'm going to come up here and change anybody, but when I present you the truth, okay, then that's going to make it, a challenge for you to go and see if it really is real. And you're going to find that it's the truth, that they took everything from this literature and they rewrote it to give it to you, to get you to look outside yourself. And, this is what they've done. Okay. Flat out, point blank, period. So what I'm about to do real quick is I'm going to share the screen with you guys. I want you guys to check this out. Okay. Basically what this is, man, is this is going to be, it's going to show you what I was telling you guys earlier about how your heart is going to be weighed. Okay. By, by Anubis. Okay. When you leave this body. Okay. Hell. Remember, they told you it was hell, but it's not hell. It's the underworld. Okay. Look, I'm proving it to you on how they stole the information and they rewrote it to their own. They call it hell. Okay. They call it a fiery place where you're going to burn in hell. Okay. Which is not a place like that. Basically, it's just a place where your soul is going to go into a river of soulless bodies. You're no longer a functioning soul. Okay. Your soul is going to be recycled in the underworld. This is basically what it is. And this movie here is called The God of Death. Okay. From the movie, The God of Egypt. And I just want you to look, because this is with him meeting Anubis in the underworld. Again, they put it in the movies. They put it in our face because they want to show you, because they have to show you the truth, man, or this movies wouldn't be made. All right. And you guys got to understand that this is what's happening. So check this out.
She's gone beyond where I can reach.
Anubis, come forth.
You are released. The doors of Earth are open to you. You must begin your journey.
She died a slave. Without treasure, she won't be allowed through the final gate.
What do you offer?
She can't pass into the afterlife.
For you, Lord Anubis, governor of the bows who is upon his mountain, I have only my smile.
So be it.
Zaya!
The dead don't speak to the living.
Stay on the path.
Now give them to me.
You've done nothing.
My eye.
Okay, so that was the first clip that I'm going to show you. This next clip that I'm going to show you is similar to the same thing. Okay, basically what they just showed you was the underworld. They just showed you how Anubis comes through. Okay, he's responsible for judging your soul, responsible for putting your heart on the scale. All right, this is what's going to happen when you leave your body, aka hell. Okay, this is where they got this from. All right, and you guys got to understand that this is not a joke. All right. So what I'm about to show you next is a clip from Hercules. Okay. I know you guys have seen the movie Hercules. All right. In Hercules, the Hades, all right, is in the underworld where Hercules has to come to try to free Meg because Meg lost her soul. She sold her soul to Hades, which is Satan, aka Satan. Okay. That's who he is acting out in this part. And what you're going to see is when they go to the underworld, you're going to see exactly how the underworld is constructed. You're going to see exactly what, these Egyptians have left behind and told us was going to happen. And they put this in the movie Hercules. So check this out.
But at least I've got one. A ton, Wonder Boy. But at least I've got one swell consolation prize. We were so close! So close. We tripped at the finish line. Why? Because our little nutmeg has to go all noble.
Where's Meg?
Look who's here. Wonder Boy, you are too much.
Let her go.
Get a grip. Come here. Let me show you around. Well. It's a small underworld after all, huh?
Meg!
No. Mustn't touch. You see, Meg's running with a new crowd these days, and not a very lively one at that.
You like making deals. Take me in Meg's place.
The son of my hated rival trapped forever in a river of death.
Going once.
And that's all I'm trying to prove to you guys. Straight up, bro. Okay. That's all I'm trying to prove to you guys straight up, man. I'm proving it to you guys on what is actually going on down here. There is no reason for you guys to sit here and sit back and be ignorant of everything that's going on out here. All right. This is why we are doing this journey, bro. This is why we are focusing on ourselves. This is why I'm so serious about what I do. I'm not going to be playing no games with you if you come in my chat thinking this is a goof troop game, bro. This is serious, man. This is saving people's lives. This is really what we're supposed to be doing down here. Okay. We're helping each other out. We're spreading the message. I told you this is what we're supposed to do as human beings. Okay. We're supposed to share the information. And this is really what's been happening down here. Okay. We've been lied to about everything. All right. There is a hell, but it's an underworld. Okay. There is a Christ, but the Christ ain't come back to save you. The Christ left the message. Okay. The Christ is trying to get you to recreate the same thing that the Christ did to escape this reality. Okay. Because again, ain't nobody going to be able to save you. You came in this place by yourself. Did you not? When you die, do you leave this place by yourself? Do you not? Okay. This is what I'm telling you. And once you leave this place, you're going to be judged. Your heart is going to be weighed. Okay. This is what I'm proving to you guys. All right. This is what's going on down here in this matrix, man, where they got us all confused about what's really taking place. And I told you what it's all about. It's all about making sure you lose your soul. All right. It's making sure that your heart is heavy. You're attached to all this materialism. All right. So when you leave this body, you're going to be judged. Your heart is going to be heavy and you're not going to make it to everlasting life. Matter of fact, you might have to do this life over again, depending on how radically you lived your life. And this is just the facts. And we all know this because we have our religious text to tell us so. And we believe this story, but now we see where the original story comes from. Okay. And what you really need to be truly looking at when you understand that this is what's taking place. All right. And all I'm trying to do is just bring the awareness to you guys. All right. You heard it. I played so many good clips today about what is actually happening and why it's important for us to be doing what we're doing, because all of this stuff that we're doing is doing what is making us ascend to our higher selves. It's raising our vibrations. When I say raising my vibration, all that means, people, is going from your lower chakra to your higher chakras. That's all that means. That's all raising your vibrations means. It just means you're now leaving your root chakra and now you're ascending to your crown chakra. You're becoming like the mind of God. You're unlocking your pineal gland, your third eye. You now have the all-seeing eye. You now have the eyes to see. And this is how you're able to navigate and find the truth. But you can't do that if you have not went on the journey, because I told you it's a certain way we have to conduct ourselves down here to get to the truth. And you're no different than anybody else. So that means you're going to have to go through what everybody else went through. And this is why information like this is so important. Okay. I'm telling you, this is why information like this is so important, man, because we're giving you the keys, man. Okay. We're giving you the keys. You may be able to take this information and go out there and find some other nuances that we left out and be able to, further help yourself in ascending. And that's fine and dandy. But the truth of the matter is This is what's taking place down here. And I just want you guys to be aware. So I'm going to read a couple of these comments real quick before I get up out of here. Facts, truth, bro. Facts, bro. That's exactly what it is, man. That's exactly what it is. The thing is, man, he knew the truth, bro. Okay, he knew the truth, man. Okay, he is probably just testing you. Okay, and if he had it in his mouth, maybe he didn't know the truth. Okay, but I'm telling you, from what I've seen, bro, you know, most of them don't have the truth, man. Most of them, they're not working on their health. A matter of fact, I talked about that in one of my last streams. I talked about how they're in these societies and they're supposed to have all this information, but none of them are working on their health. Okay, that which doesn't make sense. So that's signifying to me that the society isn't helping them, you know, become their best versions. Because if they did, they would be healthy. And in fact, what's happening is, you know, these people are still stuck on the path of still eating the same slave diet. They're still eating the diet of the matrix. Okay, which would further show you that they might not really have the truth. All right. And this is some of these things that I had picked up a long time ago and made me realize that that's not something I would probably want to be a part of. If the core of this thing is not helping people awake to their true gifts and who they are, then what does that say about the practice in general? Okay. And this is my whole point about this thing, because they hide information from people. They wait till you get to a certain level to be able to give you this information, when this is public information, when you could just go on your own journey and look inside yourself and be able to find this information yourself. Okay, you don't need to go join any outside groups to find the information about life. They have to tell you. Okay, they have to tell you, whether it's in a movie or whether it's in a book, okay, whether it's on the internet, no matter where it is, they have to tell you. It's just up to you to be in the right alignment and frequency to be able to interpretate the information. And this is where we talk about how most of the information goes over people's heads. And this is what I'm proving to you. Facts, bro. Facts, Jim. Exactly what it was. It's always been that, man. It's always been that. And look, I'm not mad at people at the end of the day, because I was fooled just like many of you for a long time. I was under the sleep spell, but I told you what I had to do. Okay. They hindered me at a very young age by putting the mercury amalgams in my mouth. Okay. That messed up my health. That kept me in a low vibrational frequency of being negative for a long time because I was unhealthy. And the minute that I got those out of my mouth, man, I told you that's when my spiritual journey came on. I told you I got that stuff removed out of my mouth in 2010. Okay. And all it took was maybe a year and a half or 2 years before I started feeling amazing, man. And then next thing you know, my spiritual gifts came online. Okay. No cap. This is how my whole life has transpired. I can't wait to tell you guys in full detail what's going on in my life and what I've been through. I told you it's an amazing story. And you know how I did that? You know how I went in there and handled that? That you guys are going to think I'm crazy for doing it, but this is what I did. Okay. And once I found out that those mercury amalgams were in my mouth and they were causing the damage that I did, I made an appointment to go down there, bro, and I had them all pulled out in one day. I'm not kidding you. I had them all pulled out in one day. Here's the thing about the mercury amalgams. Okay. When you go to get them pulled out, like you can't have them drilled on. This is what I want you to understand and the importance of it. You can't have them drilled on, because I just told you on how the vapors come out of your mouth when you chew food. And every single time that you chew food, you're swallowing those vapors. And mercury is the most toxic element. So what do you think mercury is going to do to an alkaline body? What do you think mercury is going to do to your gut bacteria? And I told you that mostly every single disease manifests in the gut first. Okay. And then it moves down to the colon. So what's happening is that mercury is destroying your army. It's destroying your protectors. Okay. Which are your good guys, your good bacteria, all the stuff that's going to protect you. Okay. And when you eating food and you're doing that, you're swallowing that, it's getting into your gut. This is where I said you develop IBS, you develop Crohn's, you develop colitis, you develop any of those diseases that target the gut. because that's one of the main focuses of mercury, okay, and why it should be removed and shouldn't be in people's mouth. But what happens, because we're in low income areas and we're on state insurance, again, here, everything that I've been proving to you goes together hand in hand. It goes together like a puzzle. You can see how their system works. They put people in poor areas. They put people on, state insurance. They put people on food stamps where they can only buy, the worst foods, and they can't eat anything good for them, and they can't go find, pure organic places because they don't have the money to afford it. All the stuff that they do, man, is on purpose. They give you state insurance, so they give you state doctors who are going to follow the curriculum to a T. So that means when you go into these dentists and these doctors, they're going to do what they were taught to do to you. Okay. They're going to go by the book. They're going to go by the Rockefeller curriculum. Okay. Which is to put mercury amalgams into your mouth. Okay. When I told you your teeth are connected to various organs, including your brain. Okay. Your body is a sophisticated machine, and they know that because they've studied us. And this is how they are so successful in keeping us sick. Okay. All I'm trying to prove to you guys at the end of the day, man, that we have a battle on our hands, and we need to be spiritually aware. And the only way you're going to be spiritually aware is to clean out your body first and foremost. So I told you, if you got those mercury amalgams, you better get them out of your mouth like tomorrow. Okay. I'm not kidding you. Okay. They are so bad for your health. They're so terrible for your ascension. Okay. And they are literally holding you back. Okay. And the other thing that we need to do, okay, is to continue to retain our seed, bro. It's important that we do this. Why? Because I just sat here and told you it's going to help you keep your pineal gland from being calcified. All right. It's so many different reasons why we should be doing the things that we're doing. Okay. And if you're not practicing this, then like I said, you're the one hindering your own evolution. What's up, Nick? Appreciate you for being up in here today. I don't know, bro. I just think people at the end of the day have short attention spans. And of course, we have a lot of trolls. You got to think about it, man. Like when you talk about information like this, bro, you're going to get a lot of trolls. It's just the way, it's just what it is. It's designed like that. They're basically trying to corrupt and then sabotage whatever it is that you're doing. That's what trolls do. And I told you guys, try not to speak to them. Try not to, make comment to them in the comment section. Don't feed the trolls, bro. If I see them, I'll block them. It's pretty much that simple. But again, we should all be here on the same frequency, talking about positive things. If people are not in here contributing anything positive to what we're doing, then they just simply have to leave, bro. Okay. There's no excuse for you to come here and try to find something wrong with what I'm doing. What does that tell you? That tell you that you're a natural born hater. Okay. You could have commented about anything else in the world, and you tried to come at it at a negative angle, which to me highlights a red flag over your name right away. And I'm going to get rid of you. Okay. Because you were never here for the group. You were never here for the community. You were never here to spread any kind of positivity. You were here to cause some kind of hiccup. And this is just the facts, man. And I just want you guys to understand that this is what happens when you come into the truth. Facts, bro. I like that, True. He said, like I say, whatever you want to accomplish in your life, which is that really on you, build a solid foundation of that. Then if you want to switch, you don't have to have a girl to join you. This is what this journey is about. And it's no disrespect to the women, bro. But like I said, man, we all have to evolve. And unfortunately, I told you the women are not doing that right now. They're just not. They're in a position of power. They're in a position of comfort, man. And it's unfortunate that a lot of women have been, misled just like we have. All right. But our job is to not be worrying about everybody else. Our job is to be worrying about yourself. Not me, not Jim, not Truth, not anybody in the comment section. You're the only one who's going to have to go what you're going to have to go through. You're the only one who's going to be judged. So why are you worried about what everybody else does? Ignore them. Worry about what you got going on. Focus on the things you got going on. And I promise your life is going to change. So I appreciate all you guys that came up in here, man. We made this one a little bit longer. I'm probably going to pull it down and edit it and make it a little bit shorter for you guys to watch. So look for that in the video upload section. And I just want you guys to understand, man, that look, man, this is not a joke. This is serious. This is what we got on the line. I implore you to go do some research, man. Spend your time researching, learning, becoming smarter. That's the best thing that you can do in this society, man. Okay. Instead of be a victim, do your due diligence, man, by putting in the work. And I told you that SR and semen retention, bro, are going to give you the energy to be able to do that. So I appreciate everybody that came up in here. I'm about to get up out of here. You guys have a good rest of the day. You guys continue to retain your seed, raise your vibrations, understanding, man, that these are some of the key things that we have to do, bro, in order to ascend, man. Okay. You have to ascend these chakras, okay, in order to then unlock them, bro. You have to evolve as a human being, and you got to unlock your pineal gland. This is how you become an all-knowing being, okay, with the eyes to see in a society like this. This is how you do it, bro. This is how every one of those ascended masters before us did it, okay? You are not going to find no other way around it. You're going to have to do what everybody else did, man. And I suggest you start working on it today while you still have time. So I appreciate everybody that came up in here. I love you guys, man. You guys stay safe, and I will talk to everybody on the next one. Peace, fellas.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. I ain't never gonna relapse, never gonna relapse again. Keep the power in my beanbags, my beeswax, the gold that I'm holding. In my young days, I was fiending on the streets. Ladies all around, lost in between the sheets. Monday to Sunday, full-time player known as the #1. Pong-tang slayer, high-grade charm. For them A-grade kittens locked in on the booty with my X-ray vision. A young heartbreaker of my time, always taking nines. John Mayer in his prime, but as time passed, all that busting caught up, burning out fast. Mojo got the cut. Losing seed at breakneck speed. Couldn't keep up, it was break. I ain't never gonna relapse, never gonna relapse again. Keep the power in my relapse, my beeswax, the gold that I'm holding me. I ain't never gonna relapse, never gonna relapse again. Keep the power in my beanbags, my beeswax, the gold that I'm holding in. I lost a lot of juice and I knew I had to bring it back. A good friend of mine said, keep it in your sack. Cause when you lose your semen, you lose your being, along with everything you believe in. Trust me, it's bad, but it could be worse. So retain your seed and you'll beat the curse. Didn't believe him at first, but the life came back to my guns. Feet back on the earth, could feel us packing. I ain't never gonna relapse, never gonna relapse again. Keep the power in my beanbags, my beeswax, the gold that I'm holding in. I ain't never gonna relapse, never gonna relapse again. Keep the power in my beanbags, my beeswax, the gold that I'm holding in. Oh yeah, baby, no more busting nuts all over the place. Na 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 na. Oh yeah, baby, no more busting nuts all over the place. Na 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 na. Oh yeah, baby, no more busting nuts all over the place. Na 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 na.
And now, our runner-up for hairline of the week.
Come on, bro. You gotta let that hairline go, bro. It's over.
My fans getting all the scoop on who these pooper shooters is.
Yo, Chris, that's cool and all, But you gotta let it go, bro. You gotta come join the family, bro. Come on, bro. You gotta let that hairline go, bro.
Damn!
Look at the top of his head.
Your hairline looks like it got kicked backwards by Bruce Lee. LeBron James is your barber.
The hairline cannot be fixed by Bob the Builder.
What did the one hairline say to the other hairline? It's been a long time since I've seen you.
You got 3 different types of hairlines. Some hairlines are parted, some hairlines are unparted. But LeBron's, that nigga shit is departed. God damn. Nigga hairline so damn messed up. Whenever that nigga take showers, I bet that nigga get brainwashed.
Really, nigga?
So with that being said, I have more sex than actors on.
Really, nigga?
So with that being said, I have more sex than actors on.
Really, nigga?
So with that being said, I have more sex than actors on.
Wow.
So with that being said,
Activate the shave line king.
You are now listening to Beantown Beats. Beantown Beats.
You are now listening to TSLK. You are now listening to Beantown Beats.
The Shaved Lion King is one hell of a retainer, for real, for real.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. I ain't never gonna relapse, never gonna relapse again. Keep the power in my beanbags, my beeswax, the gold that I'm holding.
In my young days, I was fiending on the streets. Ladies all around, lost in between the sheets. Monday to Sunday, full-time player known as the #1. Pong-tang slayer, high-grade charm. For them A-grade kittens locked in on the booty with my X-ray vision. A young heartbreaker of my time, always taking nines. John Mayer in his prime, but as time passed, all that busting caught up, burning out fast. Mojo got the cut. Losing seed at breakneck speed. Couldn't keep up, it was break.
I ain't never gonna relapse, never gonna relapse again. Keep the power in my beeswax, my beeswax, the gold that I'm holding me. I ain't never gonna relapse, never gonna relapse again. Keep the power in my beeswax, my beeswax.